Hey Adrian, it's Greg. So, I'm going to be doing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Explanation, just breaking down a super basic, super simple combo. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is built around combos nowadays. It's almost impossible to win the game unless you have some form of chain that allows you to really pop off and set up this unbeatable board that your opponent can't get through. So, we're going to break it down. So this is the deck that I use when I play Yu-Gi-Oh! It is a Dragunity deck. It's a unity between dragons and winged beast monsters. So it's really, really cool. First off, we've got our extra deck here. The extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is basically a separate deck that exists of 15 cards or less on the side of your board that you can always have some form of interaction to pull from. However, usually these cards require specific conditions to be met. Now we've got our standard Synchro monsters. Synchro monsters require a non-tuner monster and a tuner monster. And together, the tuner monster and the non-tuner add their levels together, which is the stars at the top, and if that equals the level of your synchro monster, you can summon it. So we've got a bunch of those synchro monsters because they're pretty easy to get out, and we've got some link monsters. Link monsters, you can only summon one link monster in your link zone at the top of your board. Now, if that link monster has arrows that point to other zones in your monster region, you can summon more link monsters there. So you can see some of these have some arrows pointing down, some of them have region arrows pointing sideways. That'll come into play a little bit later. And then we've got our fusion monsters. Fusion monsters usually can only be summoned with a specific required thing listed here. In this case, it says any 3 monsters with different names, and the card Polymerization. However, thankfully, I don't need to use Polymerization with Trishula. Trishula has the effect of being able to just banish the above cards mentioned in order to summon it. I don't need to use Polymerization. Lastly, we have an Xyz monster. Xyz monsters take the level of the monsters, and if you have 2 of those, you can stack them on top of each other to create the Xyz. In this case, he also requires that they're dragons, but if I had any 2 level 6 monsters to summon a normal rank 6 Xyz, that's how I would do it. All right, so let's get into this combo. This combo is a 2-card combo, which is great in Yu-Gi-Oh! A 2-card combo means you only need those 2 cards in order to combo off and to fully perform the entire combo. Any other cards in your opening hand are redundant. So for the purposes of this, in Yu-Gi-Oh! You draw 5 cards at the start of your turn, or start of the game. So we're going to just have those 2 combo cards and any 3 extra cards that I have in my deck. It doesn't matter what they are, so I'll just flip these upside down. So these are just our 3 random whatever we drew, and then, we drew our 2 combo cards. So our 2 combo cards are Dragunity Phalanx and Dragunity Remus. These 2 cards, if I have these, I can do the full combo. So, how does this full combo work? Well, it's going to have a lot of deck searching. A lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can search through cards in your deck to pull out the thing that they need, and once they've done that, you can just do some cool things. Now, usually you'd shuffle your deck and have your opponent shuffle your deck and hand it back, but I'm going to just skip all of that because that's going to take too much time. And this is a super fast, super easy combo. So, let's get into it. So, our Dragunity Remus is going to use his effect during our turn. He can be discarded to add a Dragon Ravine from our deck to our hand. So, let's do that. Discard him, put him on our discard pile right up over here, and let's search our deck for a Dragon Ravine. So, Dragon Ravine is a field spell card. Field spells transform the board so that both players have a new, unique way to take things on their turn. And Dragon Ravine is no different. This one allows us to, once per turn, I can discard any 1 card to perform one of the following effects, and I'm going to be using the one of adding a level 4 or lower Dragunity monster from my deck to my hand. So, play our Dragon Ravine down on the field. We're going to discard our Dragunity Phalanx, and we are going to search our deck for a Dragunity Legatus. Dragunity Legatus, here he is, right here. He is going to get into our hand. And then we are going to use his effect. If I control a Dragon Ravine, I can special summon him from my hand. Now, I guess I should mention this right now. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a resource-based card game, just like Magic the Gathering, where you have to pay mana for things, or you have to tap lands, or Hearthstone, where you have to pay mana, right? You have to pay for things. In Yu-Gi-Oh! You have 1 normal summon per turn. You can play a level 4 or lower monster from your hand once per turn, and that's to limit how much you can summon and do crazy things. However, there is no limit on numbers of special summons. You can perform any number of special summons, and summons from the extra deck are all special summons, as many times as you want per turn. So we're going to be using that to our advantage to special summon as much as possible. So this one allows us to, if we control a Dragon Ravine or a Dragunity monster in play, I can special summon it from my hand. So I'm going to do that, special summon him from our hand. And Dragunity Remus has a second effect where if I control a Dragunity monster, I can special summon him from my graveyard to synchro. However, when he leaves the field, he gets banished. So we'll special summon our Dragunity Remus, and we're going to synchro a level 4 Winged Beast monster and a level 2 Dragon Tuner. These 2 together, he gets banished up there, and these 2 together will be synchroing into our Dragunity Knight Gargurge. There he is, Gayturg. I like that. Gaydurg. We'll call him Gaydurg because that's fun. So Gaydurg is coming down. He needs a Dragon Tuner monster, and he needs a non-tuner Winged Beast monster that adds up to 6. And bam, we fulfilled all those conditions, so we get to summon him. Now, his effect is awesome, and we're going to use it quite a bit. Once per turn, I can discard, or I can add any level 4 or lower dragon or Winged Beast type monster from my deck to my hand. Then I discard. So I add a card to my hand, and then I discard any dragon or Winged Beast type monster. So we're going to use that effect to add from our deck to our hand a Dragunity. Actually, let's do this. We'll add Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. Yeah, let's do this guy. So he gets added from our deck to our hand. And oh no, our other 4 cards aren't dragons or winged beasts. I guess I got to discard Zephyros. Bam, he goes in the grave. But guess what? He's got a cool effect. I can add, if it's in my graveyard, I can return a face-up card I control to my hand and special summon him, and taking 400 damage. Oh no, my life points. So I take some damage. Doesn't really matter though, because I get to special summon him, and I can only use this effect once per duel. So he gets special summoned to our side of the field. We're going to bounce this Dragon Ravine back into our hand. And now I have two different monsters. One is a dragon, one is a winged beast type monster, and we're going to link summon these two. So these two go into the graveyard, and I'm going to link summon into Dragunity Knight Romulus. Dragunity Knight Romulus requires any 2 dragons or winged beast type monsters, so that works out. And when he's added into our deck, I get to add 1 Dragunity spell or trap card from my deck to my hand. So Dragunity Romulus comes into our link zone at the top of the board, and we are going to add any Dragunity type spell to our hand. We are going to add Dragunity Glow. So Dragunity Glow gets added into our hand, and we're going to immediately play this card. This allows us to add a level 5 or higher Dragunity type monster from our deck to our hand. So we're going to play that. That goes into the graveyard. I get to add any level 5 or higher Dragunity type monster, and bam, a Dragunity Arma Mistletoe. He's level 6, so we're adding him to our hand. Now, Dragunity Arma Mistletoe has an effect where I can tribute any Dragunity monster that I control to special summon it. So we're going to do that. Why normal summon when we can special summon? So we'll tribute our Dragunity Knight Romulus, and we will special summon our Dragunity Arma Mistletoe. Now, it has another effect where when it gets special summoned, I can equip it with a Dragunity type monster from my graveyard. So we're going to equip him with our Dragunity Gaydurg. Gaydurg is getting equipped to Dragunity Arma Mistletoe, and now I have a second effect on Dragunity Glow. While this is in my graveyard, I can banish it to special summon any, in defense position, any Dragunity monster that's equipped. So we're going to banish our Dragunity Glow, we're going to special summon our Dragunity Knight Gaydurg, and we're going to use his effect again. His effect, even though it says once per turn, very much like your web browser, you can refresh it by just killing it and then re-summoning it. So we are going to use his effect a second time. We are going to add a card from our deck to our hand, and we are going to discard a Winged Beast or Dragon monster. We'll add a Dragunity Koos to our hand, and we will promptly discard a Dragunity Koos into the graveyard. You'll notice what we're basically doing is we're loading up our graveyard. We've got a bunch of dragons and stuff in our graveyard, and our graveyard essentially functions as a second hand. Once a monster dies and goes to the graveyard, you can always have ways of interacting and bringing it back and resummoning it. So these 2 cards are both level 6 dragons. I think you know where this is going to go. Whoosh, whoosh, he's stacking on top, and bam, we are Xyz summoning from our extra deck a Hieratic Dragon King of Atum. So being a rank 6 Xyz monster, he needs 2 level 6 dragon monsters. So bam, bam, 2 level 6 dragon monsters stacked on top of each other, and he has an effect where I can detach a monster from him in order to special summon any dragon monster from my deck, but set its attack and defense to 0. And it can only be used once per turn, but that's fine. So we're going to detach our Gaydurg, or our Gaydurg. Very important, again, that we discard this one and not the Arma Mistletoe. You'll see why in a second. Gaydurg gets discarded from our, or detached from our Hieratic King of Atum, and we get to special summon any dragon from our deck, but make its attack and defense 0. We're going to summon a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Joey would be proud. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon has an awesome effect where once per turn, I can special summon a dragon monster from my hand or graveyard, except for himself. So we're going to use that effect to special summon, you guessed it, Gaydurg! Gaydurg coming back into play. Gaydurg, we're going to use his effect yet again. Let's add a dragon level 2 or lower to our, or 4 or lower to our hand, and let's discard a dragon or winged beast monster. We'll discard a Phalanx. So now we have 2 Phalanxes in our grave, and we have 1 Koos in our grave, and we've got a Romulus chilling in there as well. So we've got quite a couple dragons chilling in our graveyard. Now, both of them use their effects. He summoned this guy summoned this guy, so both of them are useless. Let's get them out of here. We're going to tribute both of these guys. Sorry, not tribute. We're going to link those 2 guys into a cute Protector Whelp of the Destruction Sword. And this guy's effect, when he gets link summoned, I can send a Destruction Sword card from my deck to the graveyard. So we're going to do that. So we're going to link into him, and we are going to send another cute card, this cute little dragon holding his sword. Look at him, his little like cat thing, I don't know. Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. He's going from our deck into the graveyard. Again, we're just setting up the graveyard. He's going to come into play a lot later. So we've done all this stuff. And we've got a really low, like 400 attack monster over here, and we've got a 2400 attack monster, which is nice, but not the best. So we're going to continue with this combo because we still have Dragon Ravine in our hand, and we still haven't normal summoned for the turn. So we're going to replay our Dragon Ravine, and this is where these cards don't matter, but they matter for the purposes of discarding. We're going to activate Dragon Ravine's once per turn effect again, because we, again, refreshed it by replaying it, and we are going to discard one of these cards, and we're going to add a level 4 or lower Dragunity monster from our deck to our hand. We are going to add Dragunity Ducks. Quack, quack. Here he comes, Dragunity Ducks. So Dragunity Ducks has an awesome effect. When he's normal summoned, specifically normal summoned, I can equip him with a level 3 or lower Dragon-type Dragunity monster in our graveyard and treat it as an equip card. So we'll summon our Dragunity Ducks, put him over here. We are going to equip him with our Dragunity Goose. And Dragunity Koos is now equipped. Now, Dragunity Koos has an awesome effect where, if he's an equipped card, he can be special summoned, right? If he's equipped to a monster, I can special summon him. And once he's special summoned, he can be used only for the synchro of Dragunity monsters, but he can be treated as a level 4 monster, even though he's only level 2. So we're going to use his effect to special summon him, and then as a level 4 Dragon Tuner and a level 4 non-tuner winged beast type monster, these two are going to synchro into a level 8 Dragunity Knight Barsha. And this boy is where the combo goes off, because Dragunity Knight Barsha, when he's synchro summoned, he can equip himself with any number of Dragon-type Dragunity monsters in my graveyard. So literally every single Dragunity Dragon-type monster in my graveyard can be equipped to him, and we're going to equip all of them. Dragunity Koos, Dragunity Arma Mistletoe, Dragunity Phalanx, our other Dragunity Phalanx. We can equip Romulus too if we want to. It doesn't even matter. We're just going to stack him up. We have our full spell and trap card zone filled with 5 amazing Dragunity cards, all equipped to our Dragunity Knight Barsha. Now, you remember Koos can special summon himself. We haven't actually seen Phalanx's effect, but he can actually, while he's in the equipped monster zone, he can special summon himself as well. So we're going to special summon our Dragunity Phalanx, and we'll have him as a level 2 tuner with our level 6 Dragon Synchro here, synchro into a level 8 Synchro monster, none other than Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which requires actually a non-tuner Synchro monster. So Gatorg being a Synchro monster and our level 2 tuner, together, boom, level 8 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on the board, and that is one of our ending monsters. This guy's a super strong card. He's got some negation effects, which we'll talk about later, but he's super, super cool. And then we will special summon Dragunity Phalanx and Dragunity Koos into those two zones over there. Dragunity Koos will link summon, because he's being pointed at by that arrow, into a Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon can be link summoned with any level 4 lower dragon monster. So bam, there he goes. And then our Dragunity Phalanx will link summon off into a Guard Dragon Pisty. Again, requires only any level 4 lower dragon monster. So bam, they both come down. Now you'll notice they're all pointing right here at this empty space, this empty monster zone. We got an arrow pointing here, we got an arrow pointing here. Well, Guard Dragon Pisty has an awesome effect where I can target one of my dragon monsters in my graveyard and special summon it to a zone that has 2 or more monsters pointing to it. So we are going to special summon in this zone. Take a wild guess. I think you figured it out at this point. It's our Gator! Gator coming down yet again, being special summoned to this zone. Now, before we activate his effect, adding something to our hand, we are going to do something called Contact Fusion. We're going to take our Striker Dragon, our Protector Whelp, and our Guard Dragon Pisty, all of whom have different card names, you will notice, and we're going to banish all 3 of them, remove them from the game to Contact Fuse into Trishula, Icy Dragon of Imprisonment. And he is an awesome card, because when he is special summoned, I can look at a card in my opponent's deck. I can banish it. I can banish a card from their extra deck. Sorry, I can banish a card from my deck. I can banish a card from my opponent, the top of my opponent's deck, and a card from my opponent's extra deck. So not only do I get to see my opponent's extra deck and potentially remove one of their game-winning combo pieces, but I also get to banish something from my own deck. Now, why would that be good? Well, you guessed right. There's always something cool that works out in Yu-Gi-Oh! I have this awesome card here, Tempest Dragon Ruler of the Storms, and when he is banished, I can add a Wind Dragon monster from my deck to my hand. So I can literally just a Wind Dragon monster if he's banished. And so he has an effect that works while he's removed from the game. How crazy is that? So I'll use Trishula's effect to banish my Tempest Dragon of the Storms. I'll use Tempest Dragon Ruler of the Storms effect to add a Dragunity Arma Leviathan to my hand. And now I will finally activate Gatorg's effect to add a level 4 or lower monster from my Winged Beast or Dragon monster from my deck to my hand. And I will add a Garuda the Wind Spirit to my hand. And then I have to discard a Dragon or Winged Beast type monster. And we will discard our Dragunity Arma Leviathan. So now we are going to basically use Dragunity Arma Leviathan's awesome effect. When he's in the graveyard, I can banish any face-up monster I control equipped with a Dragunity card, and when he gets normal summoned or special summoned, he can equip himself with any dragon that he wants. So we're going to banish our Barsha. So bye-bye Barsha. He goes into the banish zone up here. Arma Mistletoe gets thrown into the grave. Levitin comes out, and he can equip himself with anything from our graveyard. We're going to equip him with a Dragunity Koos. And now we are going to use our Garuda the Wind Spirit, who we just added to our hand. We're going to use his effect. He can't be normal summoned or set. He can only be special summoned by removing from play any wind monster in our graveyard. So we're going to special summon our Garuda the Wind Spirit, and we can banish our Quack Quack. We'll get rid of Ducks. He doesn't matter anymore. He goes in the grave because he's a wind monster. Or sorry, he gets removed from play because he's a wind monster. And that allows us to have a level 4 winged beast monster. Koos can special summon himself yet again. My board is so full. I have 5 monsters and a 6th one right there on the special zone. And this is a level 4 dragon type tuner with a level 4 winged beast monster. These two synchro summon into, you guessed it, a level 8 Dragunity Knight Barsha yet again. And I do it all over again. Equip him with every single Dragunity card. Bam, 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 bam. I can only do 4 this time because I already have, oh, he actually goes in the grave too. I forgot he was equipped. But I special summon all these guys now, and I have room for some more special summons. We're going to special summon our Phalanx over here. Phalanx will synchro with Gatorg into a level 8 Borlode Savage Dragon. When Borlode Savage Dragon gets special summoned, he equips himself with a Romulus from the grave, and he gets 2 counters, because Romulus is a Link 2 monster, so he has some power going for him there. We can then special summon a Dragunity Phalanx here, and we'll have our Phalanx, actually... Yeah, I guess it doesn't, I guess I'll summon the Koos instead, yeah. Just, that makes more sense. Because then Koos and Levitin can synchro together into a Dragunity Knight Reedbear. He's a level 10 Dragunity monster, so he needs a Dragon Tuner and a non-tuner, and he adds up to 10, so 8 plus 2 is 10. He comes out, and then we will have our Phalanx special summon itself, and Trishula and Phalanx can link summon. We don't need Trishula anymore because his effect's resolved into a Hieratic Sphere of Heavenly Spheres. And this just gives me some interaction with my opponent during their turn. I can just sacrifice this to bounce one of my opponent's cards. So if my opponent has any chance of summoning something, I can just bounce it right back to their hand, and then they have to re-summon it all over again. So that's really annoying during their turn. And finally, our Barsha is equipped with this Mistletoe, so I can do this same thing again. I can banish this again. He goes into the grave to special summon back our Dragunity Arma Levitin, who can equip himself finally to end this combo with the cutest card in my deck. Literally just the cutest freaking card. And that is our Buster Whelp, or Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. And he's got a fun effect. When he's in the equip card zone, my opponent cannot special summon monsters from their extra deck. So, yeah, now my opponent can't do anything with their extra deck. They can't summon anything until they get rid of this card. And that's the end of the combo. So what do I have at the end of this combo? I have a Hieratic Seal up here. I can bounce one of my opponent's cards. I have a Borlode Savage Dragon who has 2 negate counters on him, so I can negate 2 things that my opponent does. So if they're like, oh, I want to search my deck, no, negated. I've got a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon who can do the same thing. Once per turn, they can negate any monster effect. So my opponent's like, oh, I want to search, no, negated. I've got a Dragunity Areedba here who has the same effect once per turn. He can negate something. So my opponent wants to do something, no, negated. And then I've got, at the end of all this, a Dragunity Arma Levitin here as well, who prevents my opponent from even interacting with their extra deck. So that is a super simple, basic, really short, easy Yu-Gi-Oh combo. Basically allows you to lock your opponent out of doing anything on their turn, completely paralyzing them, and it allows you to win the game on the following turn, because when it's my turn again, I can attack. He's 4,000 attack, he's got 3,300 attack, he's got 3,000 attack, he's got 2,000 attack. That adds up to more than 8,000, and that's how the news goes.